very nondescript village in Rajsamand district of Rajasthan, situated on the banks of the river Banas. So Molela is a very small village which is in the Rajsamand district of Rajasthan. A small village in the Rajsamand district of Rajasthan, situated on the banks of river Banas. And how the terracotta tradition of Molela is different from others. The distinction or uniqueness of the terracotta frigates of this region is that they make terracotta plaques, and it is made only there. That kind of plaques are made only in Molela. That's something that is very much unique to the Molela tradition. They make plaques, figures on plaques, and if you remember, in the art history department we have a plaque placed on the corridor in front of Jairam sir's room. Do you remember that? When you come for lectures in seminar hall, in the first floor, on the corridor, on the wall of the corridor, you find a terracotta plaque. Do you remember? Anybody remember that? Have you seen that? So there is a terracotta plaque there. So that kind of terracotta tradition is very much unique to the Molela. They make it on a flat surface. Unlike usual idols made elsewhere. When we make an idol, usually we make a freestanding sculpture. That's what we see in most other traditions. They stand alone, they stand free. But in Molela, what we see is they make it on a flat surface, and they fix or they make out figures of gods and goddesses or images from day-to-day life, everything on that. And this craft existed since generations and caters to the tribals who travel from as far as Madhya Pradesh to buy them every year. So they make this, and this is the main consumers of this terracotta product is the tribals from different regions in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. So they travel as far as from Madhya Pradesh in order to buy them every year. So they have some ritual functions and all that we will see. So when you try to understand the stylistic aspects, the most important figures are of Devanarayan or Dharmaraja and Nagaraja. Nagaraja is a snake god. So these are the two important figures which appear on the terracotta plaques which is made in Molela. And the tribals prefer bright colors to depict each god. So they have importance for color. In order to make a deity, when they make a deity, each deity has its own color. So there are very specific colors. So blue is used for Kaladev and orange is for Gauradev. Orange color is used for Gauradev. Blue for Kaladev and orange for Gauradev. And usually they change the votives every year. Means after a year they will change the votive. So it's a votive offering. Every year they change it. They don't keep it for long. They make it every year and every year they change it. And there are rituals associated with this motif that they are making, and those rituals are believed to be helpful in preventing misfortunes. So it will help them to avoid misfortunes in their life. So that's what they believe. So this is a votive offering made in order to avert some kind of misfortune that might probably come to their life. So blue color is used for Kaladev and orange is used for Gauradev. Okay. So they have specific colors, very vibrant colors used for different gods. Blue is specifically used for Kaladev and orange is used for Gauradev. And about the mud they are using, the Molela clay is very much muddy in color and it is dug from the bank of river Banas, which is 2 kilometers away from Molela on Nadwara road. So if somebody is from that particular area, they will be able to identify, they will be able to understand. So the Molela clay is dug from the banks of Banas river and which is 2 kilometers away from Molela on Nadwara road. And in that region, each potter has his own spot for digging out the clay. So they will not go and dig the clay from anywhere. Each potter has their own specific spot from where they dig out the clay, and that is based on his previous experience. So the clay of a particular spot will be something special to him. So they are very particular about the clay that they use. They don't dig from anywhere. In that particular area from where they get the clay, each potter has his own specific spot from where he dig out the clay. Based on his own, and it is based on his past experience of using the clay. So the quality of the clay which they like will have, means they will be spotted on a specific spot, and from there they dig out the clay. And how do they make these colors? They make it colorful. And they make it colorful by using natural stones and mineral colors. So they take out colors from natural stone and mineral colors, and they use a kind of clay slip. So what is a clay slip? The clay slip means, if somebody doesn't know, maybe those who are in sculpture may be very clear when I say clay slip. Clay slip is a liquid mixture of slurry of clay and other materials suspended in water. And it has many functions in the production of pottery. So sometimes it is used as a colorant. So when they mix that clay slip, that clay will get a particular color, or it is used to fashion the clay in a particular way. So there are different functions for clay slip in the making of pottery or terracotta objects. So paleva is the clay slip, and they make different colors when it is mixed with different elements. So that is how they make the color. So how do they make the color? So they mix it with different elements in order to get colors. For instance, you find silver is made with paleva and water. The silver color, the tone of silver is made with paleva and water. And the reddish color is from geru, red soil. When red soil is added to the mixture, it becomes reddish in color. And as a binder they use something called davrigund, which is a vegetable gum. So a vegetable gum that is called davrigund, they use as a binder, and they collect it from trees. So from certain trees they collect davrigund, which is a vegetable gum, and it is used as a binder. And in order to get shining, in order to make the pottery shine, they use jala. Locally it is called jala, which is a lacquer coat. They apply lacquer coat, which is locally called jala, in order to make the pottery shine. And they never use varnish, because varnish is not an organic material. Something synthetic is not allowed to be applied on gods, because what they make is votive offering, and it cannot be applied on sacred objects. Something that is synthetic, something that is not natural, cannot be applied on sacred materials. For that reason they won't apply ordinary varnish. They use this natural material, the lacquer coat, for shine. And in the entire region, only one family make jala. In the Modela region, only one family makes this jala. The others will buy it from them and they are using it. So only one particular family makes jala in the whole region of Modela. So I will show you some images. So are you able to see the making of Modela sculpture, the Modela terracotta? So by looking at the image, you may understand how they are making it. So they make the plaque, they make certain small motifs with hand and fix it onto the plaque. It's a votive terracotta of Modela, and you know the motif, what it is. Krishna stealing butter. So if you look at the themes, most of the terracotta plaques from Modela, they are mainly depicting the deities from Hindu pantheon. So that the main themes of terracotta of Modela, they majorly depict deities from Hindu pantheon. And the terracotta idols imbibe the images of gods and goddesses like Ganesha, Chamunda, Kali, Durga, the regional deities and heroes of the folk legends. So it is not only the Hindu deities, the heroes and deities of the local legends also come. So you see Durga, Krishna, Ganesha, everyone is there. And also Nagadeva. So which is according to a folk legend, Nagadeva is very important for them. So they represent Nagadeva and some other deities and heroes of folk legends of Malayalam, of that particular region. And that is about the ritual tradition. But nowadays the talented Malayalam artists use their skills to depict interesting stories through this art form, like scenes from everyday village life, and likewise we see in the work of their hand. So apart from the religious tradition, nowadays you also find a talented Malayalam artist will be trying to narrate stories, interesting stories, or they will be depicting scenes from everyday life. That's something that we see today. And one can easily find art pieces of Malayalam like told vases with coil work and murals of Srinathji, murals of Radha Krishna, or murals of Gauri Nritya. Gauri Nritya is a religious dance form of southern Mewar. So Gauri Nritya is represented in the Malayalam terracotta, and Ganesha and some other deities. So these are the main things that are depicted in Malayalam art. You see Ganesha here with so many other deities. And making it hollow, that is also something unique. If you look at the robes, you will find hollow spaces underneath the figures. So that is also very much unique when they do this kind of relief kind of murals, relief kind of sculpture. So there is a lot of hollow spaces underneath the figures. See this plaque. See the hollow space given, the hollow relief work. It's a special feature of Malayalam terracotta tradition.